Hello friends, welcome once again to Onyx English. I am teacher Onu. Today we shall start solving past questions of English language 2 as tested by WAEC, that is the West African Examination Council, and then NECO of Nigeria, which is a National Examination Council. Of course, like we said before, we owe them credit for using their past questions for this series. Let us, of course, know that the essence is to help to expand or to extend the frontiers of knowledge as far as English is concerned. Once again, thanks for joining us. Now, today we shall start with just 3 questions, and they are here already. The first one says, the people who speak the same language feel related to one another. And as usual, why would have underlined who speak the same language. So, how do we apply our scientific approach to it? Don't forget, usually our first test is to test for the markers. The markers. Now, of course, the markers are the first words that appear on the underlined area. Okay? So, our first word marker here is who. Who. Now, we know that who is the first marker of adjectival clauses, or what we call relative clauses. Of course, because who is a relative conjunction. I'm sure you know that. So, it has what? Who as the first marker, as the marker, which is what? A relative conjunction. So we are moving towards adjectival clause. That's number 1. Number 2, we check if there is a finite verb. We check if there is a finite verb in the expression. So we check this is who speak. Now the verb speak here is a finite verb. Of course, we have explained that finite verbs must have 2 qualities. They must show time, and also they must be the main verb element of that expression. So let's check. In this who speak as the same language, speak is the main action here, so it's the main verb. So that's 1. The number 2, speak is the present tense form of the verb speak. So it shows time. The time is present time, or present tense as we call it. So therefore, we can conclude that speak is a finite verb. So that's our test 2 passed. And the meaning is that since it contains a finite verb, then it means we are dealing with a clause. Okay? So it has passed test 1 who, test 2 speak, is a clause. Then test 3. Since we know it is it has adjectival implication, we now narrow our test to adjectival clause. And what's the test for adjectival clause? Last test. We check if it is coming immediately after a noun. Whether the underlying expression from here to here is coming immediately after a noun. You can see it. It is coming after a noun. Okay? So, we can say therefore that it is what? An adjectival clause. Okay? So, grammatical name, which is GN, is what? Adjectival clause. Adjectival clause. Okay? That's the first test. Then, grammatical function. What is the function? Of course, we know that adjectives qualify nouns in grammar. So, an adjectival clause is a member of the adjectival category, which we have discussed in previous videos. Right? So, it means that the function is to qualify a noun or a pronoun. Now, in this case, what noun or pronoun is it qualifying? Now it qualifies that noun or pronoun that it comes after. Okay, so it is coming after the noun people. So you can say therefore that it qualifies the noun people as a function. So you can say it qualifies the noun people. Now don't forget, we have to put people in inverted comma. That is how WAEC wanted to do it and NECO. So grammatical name, adjectival clause, okay? Grammatical function, it qualifies the noun people. Now before we go ahead, let us say something about NECO here. Now for NECO, they would expect that you should know that this adjectival clause is not just qualifying people, it qualifies the noun phrase, the man. Okay? So if the question is from NECO, you say it qualifies the noun phrase, the man, because the noun phrase, the man is there. But for WAEC, I can say it qualifies the noun people. So these are some differences between how WAEC wants to answer their questions and how they want to answer other questions. Example 2. The learner from academically enriched background whose parents are highly learned and financially stable. Okay? Very simple. Test 1, we test for what? The markers. Whose. Of course, who and whose are still relative conjunctions. And so, we are moving towards adjectival. Okay? So it has whose. Now, test 2, we check if it contains a finite verb. Let's go. Whose parents are highly learned. We have as a verb. Okay? So, this verb here, are highly learned, is a present tense form of the verb is, are. Okay? So, are is what? A finite verb. Okay? That's test 2. Test 3, we check if it is coming immediately after a noun. Let's go. Enriched background, whose background is a noun. Okay? So it is coming immediately what? After background. Therefore, it is what? An adjectival clause. Very, very simple. Adjectival clause. Adjectival clause. Now, what's the function? Again, it is qualifying that noun it comes after, which is what? Background. Okay? So it qualifies the noun background. Very simple. It qualifies the noun. Qualifies the noun. The noun background. Don't forget that we put our background in inverted comma. Simple. Let's continue. The third example. Now, before I could say anything else, the mother and son, okay, sorry, before I could say anything else to mother and son, the theater door was flung open. Of course, the stretcher was wheeled in and all that. Now, this one is May, June, year 2000. SSC, May, June, year 2000. Now, let's do our testing. The first thing to test is what? Our markers, before. Now, before is a marker for adverbial. Adverbial. But we don't know whether it is a clause or phrase for now. We continue. Before I could say anything. Now, could say, or even say, is a finite verb. Could is a helping verb, but say is a verb. So it contains what? A finite verb. Now, the last test for adverbial clause is to check if the underlying expression is pointing to another verb in the other part of the sentence. Again, I repeat, check if the entire underlined expression is pointing to another verb in the other part of the sentence. Let's check now. Before I could say anything else to mother and son, the theater doors was flung open. Okay? So what happened before he could say anything to mother and daughter? The doors were what? Flung open. Okay? So the underlying expression is what is pointing to what happened, or the reason why, or what led or what made the doors to be what? Flung open. Okay? So we can simply draw like this and say it comes here. Okay? So it is pointing to was flung open. Now here there are two verbs, was and flung. We take the main one, which is what? Flung. What's the answer? Grammatical name, adverbial clause. Adverbial clause, okay? Grammatical function, it modifies the verb flung. Dear friends, I'm sure you can see this is getting more and more interesting. So this is how to solve past questions based on our scientific approach to grammar. You can do your testing one by one and get your results. So thank you for listening and thank you for paying attention. We shall see you in the next video. Meanwhile, share this our video, invite your friends to join, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Onyx English so that others can have the same opportunity which you have. Thank you very much.